You could speak in such generalities that you're not culpable for anything. For example, if you say the Lakers need a 3-and-D wing, or the Lakers need a big, right? You don't distinguish between a power forward and a center. You just say a big, right? You're not saying shit. So if the Lakers go and get a 3-and-D wing, does that mean you check mark on the list? That's checked off the list now. If they go and get a quote-unquote big, does that mean it's checked off the list now? And what you see is a lot of people, a lot of the talking heads, a lot of the people with the biggest audiences speak in those stupid-ass generalities, right? The Lakers need a 3-and-D wing. The Lakers need a big. They don't say what the 3-and-D is, right? They don't even mention the nature of the 3-and-D wing. They need a 3-and-D wing. What kind of stupid ass statement is that? The Lakers need a big. What kind of stupid ass statement is that? The Lakers have bigs. We had Trey Jameson, right? We had Jackson Hayes. That's obviously not what you're talking about. So then don't speak in those stupid ass generalities, because all that ends up being is a way for you to kind of crawl out of the situation that you're in. A way for you to absolve all responsibility from yourself. We said we needed this. I went and got that. Therefore, I can't be blamed for it. In that same regard, I want to give props to JSM channel and the Laker Legacy channel. I want to give props to them, because I was listening to, I read an article about Jerry West when Arm Tellem came to Jerry West and said, hey, I want Kobe Bryant to work out with you. Jerry West, after the workout, and it's a legendary workout, it mentions another draft prospect that Kobe had to play against, and Michael Cooper. This is an old story. I'm sure many of you heard of it. But in regard to this particular video, I want to mention how Jerry West said, we need to get that player. Not we need to get that wing, or we need to get that guard, we need to get that 3-and-D potential. And he ain't saying none of that dumb shit. He said we need to get that player. That player. Right? He didn't use generalities. He said we need to get that player. The reason why I bring that up in regard to Laker Legacy and JSM is because they're mentioning players. Look, and I'm glad they brought this dude up, Maxime Renaud. Props to them for bringing this up. Maxime Renaud. I saw him on the combine. I forgot about him. I had my mind set, and I'm going to name a player. Not just a big, like these dumbasses like to do. I'm going to name a player. I keep bringing up Tristan Vucevic, right? These cats brought up Maxime Renaud. And you know what? If the Lakers couldn't get Tristan Vucevic, and they can get Maxime Renaud, go for it. Go for it. I'm not tripping, right? But that is the kind of thinking that's going to get the Lakers to rise. Right? If you get Maxime Renaud, then you do not have to go and bust your ass to trade assets or draft picks to get a center. Right? You get Maxime Renaud, and I'm going to make a video about this too, about what JJ's responsibilities are, because I don't think he understands what his responsibilities are. But if you go and get Maxime Renaud, then it's on JJ. You got 82 games to get this dude to not be a rookie anymore. He's a 4-year senior at a very smart school, Stanford, right? JJ, you got 82 games to get this dude ready for the playoffs. That is part of your job, which I don't think JJ understands. Because he also had Dalton Knecht, who came onto the team looking fantastic. He had 82 games to get Dalton Knecht ready. And Dalton Knecht was ready to go, man. Gym rat, ready to go. Showed everything that said, yo, this dude is going to be a contributor by the end of the season. He was worse by the end of the season because JJ does not understand his job. He don't get it yet. He may. He has the potential to be a fantastic coach, but as of right now, he does not get it. Anyway, if the Lakers go and target and get Maxime Renaud, not a big Maxime Renaud. If the Lakers go target and get that dude, they're starting to get it. They're starting to understand, yo, we fucked off too many assets to go and try to fuck off more assets in order to get the player we need. We have to be on our grind. That's the key. Right? So, yeah, I've been yelling Tristan Vucevic. True. Right? If you go and get Maxime Renaud, you don't have to get Tristan Vucevic. Even though I think it would be wise to go and get the dude anyway. What would it hurt to have Maxime Renaud and Tristan Vucevic? Right? Shit, man. Play one at power forward, play one at center for all I care. I don't care. You know, I still think you make the push to get the other one. But the point is, stop with this stupid ass, lazy ass, we need a big. What kind of big? Who? Right? We need a 3-and-D. What kind of 3-and-D? Who you talking about? These guys, man, I'm telling you, man, they say general shit like that. And their whole goal is to make it sound like they know what they're talking about. That's their goal. They make it sound like they know what they're talking about. They make it sound like they're the source. And a lot of times, I'll be honest with you, because of who they are and because of the amount of work they put into their channels, and respect to them for that, they do come off, they come off as a source, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had sources. I believe they probably do have some kind of sources that are closer to them than are closer to everyone else. I believe that, right? But, yo, I got encouraged when I saw JSM and Laker Legacy bring up names that no one is really talking about, right? In the same way I talk about Tristan Vucevic, they're talking about Hanson Yang. They're talking about Amari Williams. They're talking about Maxime Renaud, right? That's what is going good to get the Lakers to the top again. Not all this, oh, if I bring up this, oh, Chris Paul, maybe. Who gives a fuck if Chris Paul comes to the Lakers at this point? Seriously, who gives a shit if Chris Paul comes to the Lakers at this point? What is that going to help the Lakers? You know? If you're going to talk about Chris Paul, talk about him from that perspective. From the perspective of the dude is a 6'2" point guard who is obviously over the hill, who couldn't help us worth a shit. Speak about him from that perspective. Be real with it. Don't be down with it for the clickbait aspect of it. You know? Anyway, so it just so happened that I read the article about how Arn Tellem brought Kobe Bryant to Jerry West. Jerry West made the statement. This is according to Arn Tellem. Jerry West made the statement, we have to find a way to get him. Him being Kobe Bryant. Right? Not we need to find a way to get a shooting guard. Could have been Kerry Kittles. Right? And props to these smaller channels who get it, who are on their grind, who exhibit the type of work ethic that the Lakers need to adopt. Instead, everything the Lakers do has to come with some kind of flair and pizzazz. It has to be big and bold. Yo, man, that ain't where it's at anymore in the NBA, man. That's not where it's at. Yo, the Lakers will always be the Lakers. And the fact that players will want to come to the Lakers because of what the Lakers established in the past is still very prevalent. But if you think that can't go away, you are wrong. You are wrong. A great franchise like the Lakers could be turned into a perennial laughingstock if you refuse to work. You got all the talent, but talent without work results in jack shit. And the Lakers have gotten to the point where they don't value assets, right? They have the natural talent. The Los Angeles Lakers have the natural talent. Thank you, Magic, Kareem, and James Worthy, Dr. Jerry Buss, and Jerry West. Thank you for that. That's where it came from, right? If Shaq wanted to come to the Lakers, that's why. If Kobe wanted to be a Laker as opposed to a Charlotte Hornet, right? That's why. Okay? The Lakers got the natural talent. They have to apply the work. And you just see over the last, 5-10 years, they have not applied the work. They better be on their knees, right? Praising LeBron for coming to the Lakers. Because if LeBron didn't come, the Lakers are looking at I don't know how many years of purgatory. Right? The fact that they gave up Alex Caruso, Julius Randle, and Ivica Zubac for effectively nothing. Right? And then they turn around and execute the Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope for Russell Westbrook trade. Those are trades that just exhibit that the Lakers are after a big name, a splashy introduction. You know what I mean? The pizzazz and the flair and all that dumb shit, right? That grown men don't respect. No grown man respects that dumb. I'm sorry, I shouldn't even say. No grown adult respects that dumb shit. Right? That's the pizzazz and shit that comes with you being in LA too long in a bubble. That's what that's from. JSM, Laker legacy, respect to you guys. And you know what? I'm going to say it. Respect to myself too. Because we're giving you the names that are going to make the Lakers get over. The other names that you hear all these channels talk about, they're going to generate clicks. Hanson Yang ain't generating clicks. Maxime Renaud ain't generating clicks. Tristan Vukcevic is not generating clicks. Amari Williams is not generating clicks. But it's what we need to do to win. That's the difference. Right? So I want to say, man, respect to my fellow low count, low audience having YouTubers, man. Respect to y'all, man, because you guys are saying names. You're not saying A big, that dumb shit. You're not saying 3 and D. You're not saying stretch 5, right? You guys are actually offering. It's funny. In my line of work, right? You hear a million people complain and bitch about everything. And then you hear a handful of people who just offer the solutions they have. Right? Everyone agrees there's a problem. 80% of people just bitch about it. And then you got a little 20% who says, man, this bitching ain't doing nothing. I'm going to offer a solution. Right? And you have one type of YouTuber, right? I call them the talking heads, right? And I'm generally speaking of Trevor Lane, Alan Sleewood, Kamenetsky brothers. As it stands, Lakers, man, you're starting to move into that space. But you have guys like that who say, okay, yeah, we have a problem. What do we need? We need a 3 and D wing. We need a big. Man, no shit. No shit. You know what they did? They acknowledged the problem. That's what they did. And then you got the smaller cats. JSM Lakers, Laker Legacy, Pure Uncut Lakers, that's me. Who I say, go get Tristan Vukcevic. They say, go get Amari Williams. Go get Maxime Renaud. Go get Hanson Yang. Right? Do you see the difference? We all... Excuse me, I'm getting excited. Yo, what do the Lakers need? You got Laker Nation. You got Alan Sliwa. You got Trevor Lane, the Kamenetsky brother, telling you we need a big or we need a 3-and-D wing. And then you got the smaller cats on their grind telling you we need Tristan Vukcevic, Hanson Yang, Maxime Renaud, Amari Williams. Do you see the difference? Do you see what I was talking about earlier when I said, when you speak in such bullshit generalities, that you're really not saying anything, and all you're doing is moving 1 to generate clicks, moving 2 to absolve yourself from any culpability from the situation. That's what you're doing, right? These cats are not... They got the production, man. They got the production. They got the look. They may have the backing, right? But they ain't worth shit sometimes, man. I don't say that maliciously. I say that because it's the truth. These cats aren't worth shit sometimes. What Laker Nation needs, right, is not a big. It's not a 3-and-D wing. It's not a stretch 5. All these other simple ass terms, right? It's these players. And these players that I mentioned throughout the course of this video are all attainable. All attainable. Now you go and find one of them. Then all of a sudden, when you flip Austin Reeves, because I do believe he's going to be flipped, right? He's going to be traded. When you trade Austin Reeves, the context changed. Right? The context has changed now. All of a sudden, when you fill in this gap, right, with this player who you gave up little or nothing for, you might have purchased with cash, right? Via a second round pick or something, right? Well, all of a sudden, when you do that, and then you trade Austin Reeves and you fill Austin Reeves' space with Dalton Connect, right? The whole landscape of your offseason has changed. Because you got something from very little to nothing. You see what I'm saying? Approach the offseason with a target. Don't approach it with this stupid ass, oh, we need a big. We need a 3-and-D. Have a target. And if you can't get that target, the player you researched and you followed and you decided is what you need, if you can't get that, then move on to plan B. And if you can't get that, move on to plan C. Right? But you can't move in such a way where you're worried about yourself. Where it's about Rob Pelinka. It's about Trevor Lane. It's about the Kamenet. And I bring them all up in the same breath because, in my opinion, they all move in such a way that says, hey, I'm going to be culpable for this. Let me step back a little bit. Right? Yes, many of those channels report, they just report what they hear. I get that. I'm not tripping about that. What I am tripping about is the terms they use that I feel dumbed down the public. They use terms that dumb down the public, right? And then, so now all the Lakers got to do is go and get a 3-and-D wing, a quote-unquote 3-and-D wing. Again, another term that I feel dumbs down the public. And then it's a check mark. Well, this offseason, they got a 3-and-D wing. They got a big. But who the fuck did they get? Right? That's why the cats who are naming names are giving you the real content. And I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about JSM Lakers and Laker Legacy. Right? They're giving you names that we've yet to acquire. Would they be considered quote unquote bigs according? Yeah, they would. But who's giving you the details? And that's what's getting me, man. That's what's become frustrating to me about how the Lakers have been moving, you know, and how the talking heads, because I do believe that the Lakers organization listens to certain talking heads to figure out which way the wind is blowing. And I believe they make decisions based on that. I've been hearing Dorian Finney-Smith too many effing years to believe that the talking heads did not in some way, shape, or form to say to themselves, this is what they've been saying for years. If we give this to them, we're good. They can't really attack us. This is what they've wanted for so many years. Right? The Mark Williams trade is another one. I believe the Lakers got Luka Doncic. Rob Pelinka said, oh shit, I have to do something now. I can't just keep... I sat out all effing off season. Literally. The dude had LeBron James and Anthony Davis and sat out all off season. I don't know how he got away with that. With such little criticism. Right? The dude sat out all freaking offseason. Gets Luka Doncic delivered to his lap. In a nice wrapping with a big bow on top. And he said, fuck. I got to do something now. And that's what he went to do. Except that when he went to go and get Mark Williams for Dalton Connect in that unprotected first rounder, he realized, oh, I gave up too much. And I have no proof of this. I have no proof of any of this. I'm telling you this based on how Rob Pelinka moves. Right? I've seen people like him before. They never move in such a way that they're culpable for the bad. They only move in such a way that they're culpable for the good. And what that often breeds is inaction, the same type of inaction that we saw last summer when he didn't do shit. Because if something don't come across his desk that is undeniably or generally considered good, he's going to have a hard time pulling the trigger. Because he knows it's going to be his fault. And he can't live with that. So, the Lakers get Luka Doncic. He realizes, oh shit, I got to get off my ass and do something now. Oh, dip. It was funny. Last year, there was a question. Are the Lakers good enough to make changes for? Remember that question? Have they shown enough that they're worth going out and pursuing the piece that might get them over? And if you abided by that logic, then you've been somewhat brainwashed by the terms that are used by Trevor Lane, Alan Slewa, the cabinet, by the terms that are used by them, and also by the way Rob Pelinka has been functioning. Every team is worthy of having moves made. But with that particular Laker team, I'm talking about last year when we had Anthony Davis and LeBron before the Luka trade, the question was, have they shown enough that they're worthy of pursuing somebody to make the team better? That they're worthy of a trade happening? Do you guys remember this? And the answer was no. Even though the Lakers were playing well and showed, yo, there's something here. The answer was no, 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 no. And then when they got to the point that it was like, okay, obviously, look, man, you got to do something. This team got something, right? Dalton Connect is balling his ass off. Austin Reeves is a fringe all-star. The Lakers have 2 of the top 15 players in the NBA and a fringe all-star on the team. And you're still not... So what did he do? he went and got Dorian Finney-Smith. Y'all, that was not the move that was going to put the Lakers over. That was the move that those yelling 3 and D, 3 and D, 3 and D, or a big, or a stretch 5, a stretch 5, a stretch 5, or a small ball lineup, or a death line. Those people throwing out those stupid ass terms, it appeases them. And when it appeases them, and they got the loudest mic, they influence you. That's what happened with that. When we got Luka, Rob Pelinka realized I've been effectively inactive. And let's get something straight too. Dorian Finney-Smith is good, but he ain't all that. He is not the answer. And on most teams, he won't be the answer. Okay? The Lakers are playing relatively good basketball before him. Right? I mean, he just ain't all that. That was not the move that I felt the Lakers needed to make. Not that my opinion matters any more than anybody else's. But that wasn't the splash the Lakers needed to make. Anyway, the Lakers get Luka Doncic, and all of a sudden Rob Pelinka realizes, fuck, I fucked off months and months and months. I got to do something. If the Lakers did not have a reason for me to move before, even though I had 2 of the top 5, top 15, top 20 players in the NBA, potentially the best defensive player in the NBA, and a fringe all-star in Austin Reeves. If that wasn't enough, right, this has to be. I got to go do something. So he went to do it, and it was going to all be on him. It was going to all be on him through at least 2031. And probably the years that follow, if it doesn't work out. It was going to all be on Rob Pelinka. And that's the reason why I would not be surprised if the Lakers are going to make sure they got Luka wrapped up, and then they'll trade that 2031 pick. Because if they don't, and Luka leaves, and I'm telling you, this is the logic that went through Rob Pelinka's head. If Luka doesn't stay here, and when I trade the 2031 pick, I'm fucked. Because we're going to be sorry. Because I'm telling you, you want to know who knows Rob Pelinka better than anybody? Rob Pelinka. And Rob Pelinka knows his MO and how he moves. The dude is not proactive. He is not proactive. And he's one of those self-preservation type dudes. I've seen him before. I've seen how they move. He is look, I'm 48 years old, right? I don't know everything. I know something. And I've seen how cats like that move. He's a self-preservation dude. And he knew that if he trades that 2031 first round pick, Luka does not sign in the offseason, he's fucked. He knew that. That's why he got out of that trade. Because if he makes that trade and Luka does not re-sign, then he don't sleep well until at least 2033. And if he don't get off his ass after Luka decides not to sign, no more sitting out off seasons. If he does not get off his ass after Luka Doncic decides not to sign, then he has to do work. And the work he does is all on him. He's a genesis. That's why he did not go through with the Mark Williams trade. If it was Dalton Connect for Mark Williams, he'd have done it in a New York second. If it was Dalton Connect and some other kind of throw-in for Mark Williams, which I don't think is necessarily a bad trade for Charlotte. Dalton Connect is going to be 20-point per game scorer. At least. At some point. Next year. I'm saying next year. He showed that much. And ended up being worse than the first 5 games that he played for the Lakers. Why? Because JJ Redick. Not because of Dalton Connect. That dude got a work ethic. That dude is a gym rat. That dude's a great athlete. He showed that he is a 15 to 20 point per game scorer last year. Only person who stopped Dalton Connect last year was JJ Redick. And I believe Charlotte saw that. And I don't know that Dalton Connect for Mark Williams doesn't happen. Will the Lakers have to augment that? Yes. I don't think with that 2031 pick, though. I don't think they needed to augment it with that. I think they could have augmented it with something else, if they had any seconds or anything like that. And I don't think the league would have gone crazy if they saw that trade either. Saying, oh, the Lakers pull one off again. Nah, they wouldn't have said none of that shit. Dalton Connect is going to show his ass, man. That dude is going to be a very good player. You know, it's just that the point of all this is to say that Rob Pelinka, and no one knows exactly what happened. I'm just telling you what I think. This is just one asshole's opinion. Rob Pelinka knew that that trade was going to be all on him. And possibly, especially if Luka Doncic does not re-sign with the Lakers, he's going to be owning that trade until that trade is executed. I can't remember if it was a 29 or either way. 2029, don't matter. Until that trade is done, he owns that shit. Just in the same way that it finally felt like the Anthony Davis from New Orleans trade kind of just settled out and it's all over. Same thing with this trade. And he ain't won it. He ain't won it. Look, I'm about to end this video, man. The point is this. You can't just say you want a big, a wing, a 3-and-D, a stretch 5, small ball. All these terms you guys use, man, get off that shit. Stop dumbing down the public. You know what I mean? You have to push for names. Have a target. Just like Jerry West said, we have to get him. And speaking about Kobe Bryant, right? We have to find a way to get him. And it meant trading an all-star caliber center in Vlade Divac. Right? I don't know if he was an all-star at the time. I know he became one. But that trade looked almost crazy at the time. And he went and did it because he said we have to get him. And the same way JSM and Laker Legacy, they're not saying we need a big. They're saying we need Maxime Renaud, Hanson Yang, right? Amari Williams. I'm saying we need Tristan Vucevic. I'm saying if we trade into the lottery, go get Derek Queen. Right? It's just you see one group speaking with a grinding nature, with a work nature. And then another group speaking just to get clicks, man. And I get it. They got the production. That's all they got to do to get them. Right? Who cares about me? Who cares about them? The one that matters is Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka has to have a target. First have a plan. Then have a target. And then execute ways to get that target. Right? If he does that, the Lakers will be just fine. If he does not do that, we will be in perennial purgatory. That's the point here. Right? Name names, man. You guys don't let don't let social media dumb you down. And that's what I've seen a lot, just generally from social media, is that it's a way to dumb people down. Right? It's so easy to be a hater now. I make a video saying saying Nikola Jokic is not a top 5 center ever and is not even close. And I provide reasons why. The dude plays no defense. Akeem Olajuwon was as good, or damn near as good, as Nikola Jokic on offense. And he was the best, potentially the best player ever on defense. Best defensive center ever. That's my logic as to why I say he's not top 5 or kind of maybe not even close. Because David Robinson was similar. Kareem was similar. Right? Wilt was similar. Is being fantastic on offense. And potentially the best defensive, in the argument for best defensive centers ever. Right? That's why I'm telling you they're better than Nikola Jokic. There's another side to the ball. Right? Denver beat Seattle in the first round. Right? In the NBA finals. In the first round of the NBA playoffs in like 1994 or something. I can't remember what year it was. But Seattle was the number 1 seed. Looked like a juggernaut. And Dikembe Mutombo shut down the middle. And Denver beat Seattle. Right? Is it arguable that Bill Russell's defense was so good to the point that it counters Nikola Jokic's offense? Is that possible? Now, if you want to say, yeah, well, they made sure not too many black people played back then, so okay, yeah, I hear you. But you hear where I'm going with this, right? And for me to say he's not a top 5 center, and that kind of really ain't even close, and then for you to just say I'm a hater, that's dumbed down logic. Because I am providing you a reason why I believe that. And if you were honest, you couldn't argue what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm right. All I'm saying in saying this is that my opinion is not obscene. It's not crazy. It's not, you know what I mean? Unfounded. I'm providing you reasons why this dude is obviously not the greatest center ever. I think that's obvious. But I also think it's kind of obvious he ain't even top 5 ever. Because what he provides on defense, which is the whole other fucking half of the game, is trivial. Do you agree? Because if you do agree, then you acknowledge that I'm not saying I'm right. But what I'm saying is not total bullshit. It's not totally unfounded. There is some method to my madness. Right? And my point is that the internet has fed narratives. Right? It's fed narratives that have dumbed people down and have made people stop thinking. Because once that narrative gets out, and once it becomes a part of the culture, just a general rule, man, it is hard to talk to people. Hard to talk to people. I've had people say, well, why do you keep watching Trevor Lane? Why don't you just stop watching? You always shit on Trevor Lane. Why? Well, look, man, I shit on what Trevor Lane says. I don't shit on Trevor Lane. I shit on what he says. Right? And if he's using terms that I think are just dumbing down the public, I'm calling him out. Right? So when I hear, and he is the biggest offender of this, he loves to use those narrative terms. Small ball 5, death lineup, stretch big, 3-and-D. He throws that shit out so much. Right? And it's like, dude, you're just dumbing down the public, man. That's all you're doing is dumbing down the public. So if I see it, I'm going to call it out. And conversely, if I see people finding guys, right? Hanson Yang. I never heard of the dude until this morning. I see people finding Hanson Yang, Amari Williams. Never heard of the dude till this morning. Right? Maxime Renaud. I heard of him. I was tracking him, but I forgot about him. You know? Tristan Vukcevic. Right? Yo, man, it's a different level of giving a shit. It's a different level of intelligence. It's a different level of basketball wisdom and knowledge. It's a different, you see what I'm saying? It's on a different plane than these other people. These other people, they just, yo, man, they're just playing for clicks. But, you know, whatever. Like I said, it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what they think. What matters is that Rob Pelinka is on his grind. And he's not executing in a way that uses these stupid ass simple-minded narratives, right? If he does not, he needs to not take those simple-minded, stupid-ass narratives into the offseason with him. Leave that shit with Trevor Lane and the Kamenetsky brothers and Alan Sleep. Leave that shit with them, right? You take what me and Laker Legacy and JSM is talking about. Take what we're on. Don't take what they're on. You take what they're on, it's about you. You're trying to protect you. You're trying to make sure that whatever move you make, it satisfies the narrative. And the narrative is small ball 5, stretch big, 3-and-D wing, all this other dumb shit. Right? Because then, when people ask what you did in the offseason, what are you going to say? I got a stretch big. I got a big. I got a small ball 5. I got a 3-and-D player. You're going to throw that shit. And the smart people are going to say, who? Who did you get? They're going to ask the follow-up question, right? That's what it is. All the small cats, we are asking the follow-up questions. All these big cats are asking the big, stupid-ass question that everybody knows the answer to, right? What do the Lakers need this offseason, right? That's the question they're asking. And what Rob Pelinka wants to tell you is, oh, well, we could really use a big. We could really use a 3-and-D. That's what he wants to tell you, right? These guys are saying, what players are you looking at in particular? Now, of course, Rob Pelinka is not going to say, right? But just in the content, they're bringing up the effing players. They're telling you that you need a big in a 3-and-D wing. Do you see the difference? Right? One has you getting prepped, lubing your ass to get ready for Rob Pelinka to tell you some dumb shit. That's the difference. And the Lakers can't move like that, man. You can't afford to move like that. One of the best phrases I ever heard was, look, man, you could lie to everybody else. What good does it do you to lie to yourself? And these narratives that they got us living under, man, they're just lies. It's like just lies. It's just like saying, yo, yeah, go ahead, blow smoke up your own ass. Go ahead and it'll help you get through the day, right? Blow smoke up your own ass. Just lie to yourself all day and nothing hurts. Then everything is good, That's the difference, man. And I just got really encouraged when I read the Jerry West article today and I saw JSM Lakers and Laker Legacy bring up, just guys that you don't hear other people talking about. That's the grind the Lakers got to be on, man. Anyway, I'm starting to repeat myself. Y'all, this is Pure Uncut Lakers. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.